Alright, so we're going to be back with some more Magic the Gathering. So we're not sure what we're going to do with these cards. Are we going to make decks with them, or are we just going to record them and then do something with them? Nobody knows, so don't worry, there's still lots of Magic cards. We've only gone through like a half of 1,000, so don't worry, there's no shortage of cards. And we got all the other boxes. So we just sit here for, wow, probably can't even hear me, so we could just sit here for years and just look through card boxes and see what's all in the boxes. So Ferber, Grasper for 1 mana, and Ferber. So that's not even in English. One good. So what do we do with the foreign cards? We don't need foreign cards. This might destroy target blocked creature. So that's a bit better than the other one. The other one's like 4 mana, but you could destroy target attacking or blocking creature. So destroy target blocked creature. So as long as you have a blocker and you have this in your hand, you know you can always destroy the creature. So that's actually a good instant to have then. Then the Egg-Ray Outrider for 2 mana. Human Soldier, level up 4, put a level up counter. Then he gets Vigilance and then more Vigilance. So the only problem with a level up is you spend all this mana. Then your creature gets destroyed, and then all the mana is gone. But maybe it's good for a later game, but 2/6 Vigilance for, well, level up 1. You only have to level them up once. You only have to level him up once, and then he's a 2/6 for 6 mana. 2/6 with Vigilance. Oh no, maybe he's worthless. Demystify, destroy target enchantment for 1 mana instant. Okay, so there's one that destroys the artifact, and there's one that destroys an enchantment. So there's 2 different instances for the human, or the white cards. Destroy target blocked creature for 1 mana. Destroy target enchantment. Enchant creature gets +0/+4 totem armor. So totem armor is really good. If enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura instead. Okay, so it's only if he would be destroyed. So if he still lives and he has this, and he still lives, but if your creature would be destroyed for some reason, this aura gets destroyed instead of your creature. So that's actually a really good aura to have then for 2 mana. Caravan Escort, level up 2. So it costs 1 mana to play him, so he's a 1/1 human knight. Then you just play 2 more mana and he turns to a 2/2 human knight. So he doesn't have any abilities to level him up to level 5, so you need 10 mana. Then you could do it over turns, I guess, but then he's just a 5/5 human knight with first strike for 11 mana. Jeez. I don't think he's too good. Seize the initiative for 1 mana. Instant target creature gets +1/+1 till and gains first strike till end of turn. Okay, so the other ones, they give them +2/+2, so maybe white has instant abilities that give all your creatures +1/+1, and then one of the 3 white abilities for 1 mana. Maybe there's those options. And then the Cat Soldier for 2 mana, as long as he is equipped, it has first strike and lifelink. Yes, because I remember this. Because the commons, you just made this. There's a whole bunch of cards that have benefits as long as they're equipped. So you can just put a whole bunch of creatures and then a whole bunch of equipment, and then your decks are so unstoppable because equipments stay on the field forever. Arrest, enchant creature. Enchant creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So that'd be exactly the same as the other thing, right? Enchant creature can't attack or block. Yeah, it's exactly the same mana cost, so there's no reason to have both of them. Maybe it's the same name, maybe it's a different name. Human Artificer, fabricate 1. When this creature enters, put a +1 counter on it, or create a 1/1 colorless artifact token. 2/1 flyer for 4 mana, fabricate. So he could be a 3/2 flyer for 4 mana, or you could make a token, so he's probably not too great. Shielded Passages. Yes, because I remember this one, because it was off-center for some reason. Shielded Passage for 1 mana, instant, prevent all damage that would be dealt to target creature this turn. So the God's Willing is probably better. Yes, because you could scry 1, so that's useless. Wall of Swords, these are uncommons. We're not looking at uncommons, we just want commons. There's Aureus Arrestor, 2 mana. Human Soldier, when he enters the battlefield, detain target creature and opponent controls. Until your next turn, that creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated, so he's detained until next turn when he enters the battlefield. So, yes, I remember this. You would just play a whole bunch of him and then the other blue creatures. It was a white-blue control deck on the Return to Ravnica. Then you just detain other creatures all the time. Destroy target creature that dealt damage this turn. Instant. So it just destroys target creatures as long as they deal damage this turn. So that's better than, well, it's 3 mana to cost it. So maybe it's not too great. The Snare Squad for 3 mana. Human Soldier. Whenever he attacks, he may pay 1 mana. If you do, tap target creature and opponent controls. Whenever he attacks, so you can pay 1 to tap a target creature. So he's probably pretty good for 3 mana. Human Soldier, so we'd get rid of their defenses. Silver Coat Line, but I think there's a better one. Well, the other one's not a soldier, it's just an ox or something. Silver Coat Line for 2 mana, cat, 2/2. So we know there's lots of 2/2 creatures for 2 mana that actually do abilities, so the cat wouldn't do anything. So he's useless. And then Lie of Decree, 2 mana, detain up to 2 target creatures your opponent controls. So until your next turn, those creatures can't attack or block, and they activate abilities can't be activated. So maybe this is better than Pacifism, kind of, in a way. Well, Pacifism is permanent, but here you keep 2 creatures out of the way for your attack, and then they couldn't attack with them. And then next turn they'd be free, though. But then you could play him, and then they get detained again. Sunspire Gatekeepers. When he enters the battlefield, if you control 2 or more gates, put a white knight creature token with vigilance onto the battlefield. So he's 4 mana to cast him. So you probably have gates in the Gate Crash, Silver Lion, Avenging Arrow, destroy a target creature that dealt damage, Snare Squad, Coat Line, Decree, Gatekeepers, raise the alarm. So we got some of these ready. For 2 mana, put the 2 white soldier tokens. Convoke. Your creatures can help cast this spell, so your creatures are mana themselves. When he enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each creature you control. Oh, okay, so a human soldier for 5 mana that could be less than 5 mana, and then he just gives you a whole bunch of life for each creature you control, and he's 2/4 soldier, so he actually might be pretty good for a soldier deck. Then whenever you cast a spirit or arcane spell, you may put a key counter on him. We'll remove X counters from him, tap X target creatures. Whenever you cast a spirit or arcane spell, so you need a spirit or arcane deck. Oh, okay. Remove them and tap X target creature. So he's a creature control spirit. So he's really good for a spirit deck then. The rest can't attack, so we've seen that one. Put the soldiers on there. His skirmisher, I think he was pretty good. Yeah, for 3 mana, a cat knight. So he's a cat knight and a deck. So we could use him in a cat deck and a knight deck. Flying and double strike. This creature deals both first strike and regular combat damage. So double strike is just insane. And then you'd boost up your cats and you'd boost up your knights. So I guess he's a really good card for any good cat and knight deck. You just have to boost him up easily, and then he gets a double strike. So we've seen you, Palto's Blessings. This one was pretty good, I think. Target artifact or creature you control gains protection from artifacts or from the color of your choice. Oh no, this isn't good. This is well, it protects your artifacts, I guess. But then, if you want to protect your artifacts, but then the God's Dwelling just destroys everything. Terrace's Grass for 3 mana. Destroy a target artifact or enchantment. You gain life equal to its mana cost. So it's a arcane spell. So if you have a whole bunch of arcane spells, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and you gain life from it. Sacrifice him, target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Soul Shift 3. When this creature dies, you may return target spirit card with converted mana cost 3 less from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so he'd be kind of like the other card, but he's a spirit, he's a 1/4, and then when he dies, you can bring another spirit card back to your hand, so he brings another, so okay. Cool, so maybe he's good? Yeah, because you can't bring him back with him. And then the artifact creature, and then the Super 6 Sky Knight Skirmisher. And then him, I don't think it really does anything. Maybe a 2/2 for 1 mana or something, I don't know. He's not even a really creature except for artifact. Fortify. Choose one for 3 mana. Instant. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Or creatures you control get +0/+2 for 3 mana. So I think there's a better one for 3 mana, isn't there? Or maybe that's a sorcery. Yeah, maybe it's a sorcery. So that's probably not too good. We'd have to compare it with the other cards. So, Mighty Leap. There's the Mighty Leap again. Sunlance deals 3 damage to target non-white creatures. So here's the Thunderbolt of the white cards. So as long as he is equipped, he gets first strike and lifelink. Alright, we were interrupted there. We left a little bit, but we cleaned up. So we had the these cards here. So we already had these one. Exile target creatures. This one's better than the other one. It just costs 1 more mana than the Sunlance. So, sacrifice him. Destroy target enchantment. So he costs 2 mana and he's a spirit. So, yeah, and then with all those ones that bring back all the spirits. So spirits are probably really good or something. Gain 1 life for each one. So we're gonna be finding some new ones here because we're gonna be moving on to different colored cards. You gain life equal to its mana cost. So there's all the white cards from that box. So we could maybe theory grab some decks from the white cards from that box. I think you have to mix some of them with red cards, right? Some of them you needed some red mana, but then that one card allowed us to fix the mana anyways. Stitch Drake is an additional cast to cost it. Exile a creature card from your graveyard and it has flying. So it's a zombie Drake for 3 mana. So I think I remember this one because we played Innistrad quite a bit. And then Stitcher's Apprentice. Put a 2/2 blue Humanicus creature token onto the battlefield, then sacrifice a creature. So you can turn like a 1/1 creature into a 2/2 creature. I don't know, he doesn't really seem useful. Counter target spell. Unless his controller plays 1, that player discards a card. So if you could use it when they don't have any mana, then they discard a card. So it destroys 2 cards. So that'd be really good. It just costs 1 more mana than the counter spell. But then I guess the current cancel spell that's legal, you can only so that's pretty good then. Well, no, the other one is probably better. This one makes him discard a card, so it is a good counter spell. Hysterical Blindness. Creatures your opponent's control get -4/-0 to end of turn. So we're gonna have to look at that. Maybe the white one gave you guys a +0/+4. Yeah, we're gonna have to see what all the different ones do for the different colors. So, Lost in the Mist. Instant counter target spell. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. So that'd be alright. Yes, it's really expensive though. 5 mana. Counter target spell and then return a permanent back to your hand or his permanent back to his hand. So whenever he or another creature dies, target player puts the top card of his or her library into the graveyard. So it mills the person and it's a 2/3 creature. So it's really good then. Target creature puts the top card. Yeah, or you could mail it yourself, right? You could mail it yourself if you want to mail your own cards really good. And the Serpent of the Endless Seas for 5 mana. His power and toughness are each equal to the number of islands you control. His sea can't attack unless the defending player controls an island. So you have to change his land to an island. There is a blue card that allows you to change his land to an island. Draw a card, then discard a card. Merfolk Rogue. So I don't think it's really good. The Merfolks have so many good cards now. Creature Drake, 2/2 flying for 3 mana. So he's probably useless. There's probably other cards that have abilities, right? And then Divination for 3 mana. Sorcery, draw 2 cards. So it's a really powerful card, but it's reprinted billions of times. So we have so many of them. Chasm Drake. Whenever he attacks, target creature you control gains flying until the end of turn. So when he attacks, your other creature will gain flying. So he's probably pretty good. And the Ice Cage for 2 mana. Enchant creature can attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So it's like the white card, except it casts 1 less mana, except it has a drawback. When an enchanted creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy Ice Cage. So Ice Cage has a way to be destroyed by your enemy. Skywinder Drake flying. When Skywinder Drake can only block creatures only with flying. She's a 3/1 flyer for 3 mana that can only block flyers. Then we got the Phantom Whelp. Creature Hound. When he attacks or blocks, return it to its owner's hand at the end of combat. So that seems like 100% useless, right? You could probably get better things. Sage Owl, flying when Sage Owl enters the battlefield. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, then put them back in any order so you could stack your deck when he comes out, but that's all he does. And then he's a 1/1 flyer for 2 mana. You could probably draw cards. Scroll Thief, 2/2, whenever he deals combat damage, draw a card. Merfolk Rogue for 3 mana. When he enters the battlefield, scry 3. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put any number them in the bottom of your library, and the rest on top in any order. So you could stack your deck to choose what you want. So it's kind of like the other bird then, I guess. The other one, look at the top 4 cards, put them back on any order. Oh, you can put any number on the bottom with scrying. M10 and M11, they cost the same mana, they have the same health, they do the same thing, they're both birds. Flying. So I guess whichever one you want then. Look at the top 4 cards and put them back in any order, or scry 3 so you get rid of cards. Probably this one, probably the Sage Owl. Sage Owl would be good because you get to look at 4 cards instead of 3. So he came out earlier, so he's more powerful. Azure Drake, the 4 mana for a 2/4 flyer, so he's probably nothing special. The Aether Adept, he's just insane. Creature, human, wizard. When Aether Adept enters the battlefield, return target creature to its owner's hand. So he's a 2/2 wizard that could return your creature to your hand, so he could cast his ability again, or you could return your enemy's creature to his hand, so he's not on the field anymore. And then you could just flash this guy and keep returning his creatures to his hand. I think there's a better one though. I think there's like a really expensive blue-black one. I mean a common, the mana cost is expensive. Merfolk Spy, Rogue, Island Walk. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player reveals a card at random from his or her hand. So it seems 100% useless. Diminish. Target creature becomes a 1/1 until end of turn. So that'd be like a creature removal. Yes, instant, because if you're attacking anything, if it has a indestructible, turn it into a 1/1 and then it'll get destroyed when you're blocking it. Cloudscape 1/0 Flying Fading. This creature comes into play with 3 fade counters at the beginning of your upkeep. Remove a fade counter. If you can't, destroy it. Cloudscape 1/1 Illusion. 2/2 creature. Flying. Gets destroyed after 3 turns. I don't know. Illusions, they gain something, right? This one, it doesn't get destroyed when it's targeted, and it's an illusion. Or those elementals. Exeter as well. Counter target spell unless the controller pays 2 for each wizard in play. So that's probably a good counter spell, but maybe there's a better counter spells with the actual counter spell. Mistform Dreamer. Flying. Mistform Dreamer's type becomes the creature type of your choice until end of turn, so he could be a 2/1 flyer, any type of creature for 3 mana. So I don't think it's really that good. The Riptide Biologist, 2 protection from beasts, wizard. So I don't know, protection from beasts wouldn't do anything, right? And then he's just a wizard, just a 1/2 wizard. I don't think that, unless you're facing a beast deck, so you'd side deck this wizard, and then if you're facing but then he's just a 1/2 wizard. It's useless. Mage's Guile. Target creature can't be the target of spells or abilities this turn. Instant spell. Cycling. Discard this card. Draw a card. Target creature can't be the target. So it's like so it's just like a draw card. So you could draw 1 card for 1 mana to cycle this card for a different card. And then you could save your creature. So it's like a counter spell. A 2-cost counter spell. With the option to change it for something different. Trickster Mage, discard a card from your hand, tap or untap target artifact, creature, or land. You have to discard a land to tap or untap a creature or land. The white creatures seem better for doing that. It's just a Spell Shaper is a 1/1 for 1 mana. Yes, useless. Conviction Mirage. This one's good, right? This one's amazing. Conviction Mirage, 2 mana, or enchant land. As Conviction Mirage enters the battlefield, choose a basic land type. Enchanted land is the chosen type. So it's just like a land destruction for your color. So you could just put it on your enemy's land, and then he will not have the colors he needs to play the game. So you can turn it into a blue card, so an island. So all of your island walks will do everything. So like if you're placing something that has 2 colors in his deck, and then you destroy, or if he has like 5 colors in his deck and you just destroy one of his colors, he's ruined. So put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library for 5 mana. So blue isn't really good for destroying creatures. It's not good for creature removal, because he's just going to draw that again and then play it. I mean, well, they're fun because you play them and then you play it again next turn. Put target non-land permanent on top of it. So right, you play it, you put it on top of his library, and then he draws it, and then he plays it, and then you play something similar to this, and then he draws it, and then he plays it. And you play another similar card, and then he draws it again, and then he plays it again, and then he never makes any progress while you're sitting there making progress, I think. Infiltrator's Mage Mark for 3 mana. Enchantment Aura, enchant creature. Creatures you control that are enchanted get +1/+1 and can't be blocked except by creatures with Defender. Oh, okay, so that's a good enchantment aura, so they can't be blocked, so people don't use Defender too much, right? So it'd make all of your creatures unblockable if they're enchanted. Oh, and they get +1/+1 enchant creature. Cool, so that's a really good enchantment then. Train of Thoughts, this one's really good, right? You could draw a card and then you replicate it. So Train of Thought, sorcery for 2 mana, replicate 2, so whenever you pay 1 mana, or 2 mana, you get to draw another card, so for every single 2 mana you pay, you draw a card. But when you play this spell, copy it for each time you paid the replicate cost, yep. If you're like 10 mana, you draw 5 cards. Pretty sure that's what it is, yeah, something like that. Crystal Seer, creature Vedalken Wizard, when he comes into play, look at the top 4 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. Return it to its owner's hand. So, is this better than the bird? Well, this one's really expensive. The bird costs 2 mana. This one costs 5. So it does the exact same thing as the bird, except this one you could return it to your hand, so you could do that again and again, but 5 mana is expensive, isn't it? For a wizard. He's probably useless. You could draw 1, replicate, tap target permanent. Okay, so for each mana you pay, you could tap each their permanents. So that's probably really good. If you're going in for the killing blow, you just tap all of his permanents. And then the Steam Core Weird, when he comes into play, if fire was spent to play Steam Core Weird, deals 2 damage to a target creature. So he comes into play, and then he deals 2 damage to an enemy. I think it's just a weird 1/3 creature that doesn't do anything besides doing 2 damage, but maybe you could make a cool red deck with him. Enigma Eidolon, 4, sacrifice him. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his library into the graveyard. Okay, so he's a 2/2 spirit flyer that can make him put stuff in his graveyard. Whenever you play a multicolored spell, you may return him from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, and he comes back again. Top 3 cards, so maybe you could make a deck where you just keep bringing him back and he keeps on destroying 3 cards or something. You just have to keep playing multicolored cards. Visions gains 2 mana instant. Each player draws 2 cards. The Words of Wisdom was a lot better, right? Because Words of Wisdom said that you draw 2 cards and then your opponents draw 1 card. So this one would be a weaker version of that card. Player draw. Well, unless you're milling the person, right? If you're playing a mill deck and you want to mill the enemy and make them draw all their cards and destroy their cards, it'll help destroy their cards faster. Ocular Halo enchantment, our enchant creature has a draw a card. Enchant creature gains vigilance. So enchant creature can oh, you just have to tap the creature. So this is as long as you keep the creature alive, he can always be tapped. And then the creature gains vigilance. So okay, so you can always attack with him, and then before your turn begins, you draw a card with him. So that's probably pretty good. Unlimited card draw for 4 mana. Creature Beast. After this creature comes into play with 3 +1 counters. When another creature comes into play, you may move a +1 counter to the creature that came into play. Target creature with a +1/+1 counter gains flying until end of turn. So he's just a 3/3 beast mutant that gives +1/+1. Then he gives target creatures gain flying, so he doesn't seem too useful. Silkwing's got 3 flying, sacrifice him, search your library for a basic land card and put it into play, tap, then shuffle. So for 3 mana to bring him out, he'd be a 2/1 flyer for early game, or you could use him to get a mana, sacrifice him, search your library for a basic land and put it into play, so it's like the Rampant Growth or something. For blue, you do need a green. Enchant creature has a draw a card. Enchanted creature gains vigilance until end of turn. Okay, so we just read this one. Ocular Halo, Rite of Passage. Enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, if its power is 2 or less, it's unblockable this turn. Alright, so you have to use it on a low level creature. Forecast, reveal it from your hand. Target creature with power 2 or less is unblockable this turn. Okay, or you could use the reveal cast, and then you could just say your creature's unblockable whenever he attacks. Okay, so you could use something that when they deal damage, they draw a card, and then he's always unblockable. Or creature. Okay, and there's that card. Phantom Wings. Enchant creature is flying. Sacrifice him. Return. Oh, sacrifice this thing. Return enchanted creature to its owner's hand. Enchant creature is flying. Sacrifice this. Return enchanted creature. So you could save your creature or something. Needed to bring him back for something. We give him flying for low game anyways, but Moonfolk Wizard Floodbringer flying. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Land you control. Tap target land. So you're returning your lands to your hand to tap target lands? I don't know. Moonfolk Wizard flying. Maybe wizards are good for that. Target creature is unblockable and can't be the target of spells or abilities this turn. Splice into Arcane. Return a blue creature you control to its owner's hand. As you play an arcane spell, you may reveal this card from your hand and pay its place cost. If you do, add this card's effects to that spell. Return a blue creature you control to its owner's hand. Then you can just do it. Target creature is unblockable and can't be the target of spells or abilities. So it saves him because he can't be the target of spells or abilities. And he's unblockable. And if you return a blue creature, then you can splice this onto it or something. Something like that. In the Shimmering, this thing was just crazy insane. Shimmering Glasskite for 4 mana, Spirit flying. Whenever he becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time in a turn, counter that spell or ability. So they can't, if they want to destroy him, they have to use 2 abilities to destroy him. So he's a 2/3 flyer, so he's really, really powerful. So he takes 2 abilities, or 2 spells to actually destroy him. Mistblade Shinobi 3 Ninjutsu. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you may return target creature that player controls to his hand. So I think we tried making some things with his decks, but then the thing is, when you just return the creatures to his hand, they just play him again, and then you just have a 1/1 on the field. Ninjutsu, it's you return an unblocked creature to your hand, and then you put this in play. So then you return him to your hand, and then you have your creature in your hand again to play him again, I guess. I'm not too sure. There's better ninjutsu ones, like the Ninja of the Deep Hours. It's the Minimo's Melding 4 power counter target spell. That player's controller reveals his or her hand, then discards each card with the same name as a card placed onto that spell. What? Instant. So it's only good for Arcane, so it's not really good. Chance creature, return it. We've seen that one. We've seen you. Teardrop of Kamani. Sacrifice him. Tap or untap target creature. So you have to sacrifice him to tap a creature for 1 mana. He seems pretty useless nowadays. It's not alright. Floodbringer. We've seen you. And then Dinesh. Diminish said to target creature becomes a 1/1 until end of turn. Then he has a word Drake. Flying 2/4 flyer for 4 mana, so that's probably pretty decent. Scroll Thief, whenever he deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So that'd be something good to make unblockable. His power is less than 2, so actually maybe it gives him a use, but you have to combine with that other card. The Aether Adept, return a creature card to their hand. Flying, he can block only creatures with flying. Elemental, 2/3, flying. When Phantom Beast becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice him. So, illusions. Yes, the illusions, they're really strong, but if they get targeted, they get destroyed. But if they have no spells, they can't target them. Flying Stormbound Geist. This one's just insane, too. I know in the Pauper Commons, you pay the Stormbound Geist for 3 mana, and he has flying. Stormbound Geist can block only creatures with flying, but that doesn't matter because he has Undying. When this creature dies, if it had no +1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield with a +1 counter on it. So he's a 2/2 flyer, and then when he dies, he becomes a 3/3 flyer. So it's just insane for 3 mana. Spirit, flying, crazy. So then we got the Shriekgeist. Flying, whenever Shriekgeist deals combat damage to a player, that player puts the top 2 cards of his or library into the graveyard. So I'm not sure if he's too good. Right, he's just a 1/1 flying spirit, and then he just makes him put the cards in there, and he has to get through, and he's just a 1/1. CC8 3/4 flash flying 2/3 flyer, so he'd be good for a flash, but there's better flash cards, isn't there? Ghost form, up to 2 target creatures are unblockable this turn, so this one's probably pretty good. Makes 2 creatures unblockable for 2 mana for a sorcery, because you're going to use it before you attack. And then his Alchemist Soulbound. You may pair this creature with another creature. When either enters battlefield, they remain paired. As long as he is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has a 2/3 untap this creature. So you have to pay a lot of mana to untap them. There's better ways to untap creatures. Mistraven for 4 mana, a 2/2 flyer, so it's expensive for a 2/2. When he enters the battlefield, return target creature to his owner's hand. So Aether Adept is 3 mana, isn't it? This is 4 mana. Oh, because this guy's a flyer, so this guy can fly as well. So you're paying 1 extra mana for a flyer. He's a bird. And Gryff Vanguard. So now, when Gryff Vanguard enters the battlefield, draw a card. He's a human knight for 5 mana, so he's probably not too great. Sacrifice him, draw a card. So human wizard 1/1. So he just gives out 1 draw card, and you have to kill him. Bonus, counter target creature spell, draw a card. So that's a really good one because you can draw a card and counter a spell. So you counter a spell and then you draw another counter spell or another draw card or something. So there we go. We got a bunch of blue cards out of the way. We got a whole bunch of cards to go through still.